Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to continue our journey through Disneyland, California, and kind of switch gears a little bit. I know we just celebrated Halloween, but we're doing something fun and festive for Christmas today, and celebrating the that great big giant Christmas tree that they have in the very front of Disneyland in California. So let's check out my workspace. It's going to be a fun day. It's going to be a little bit of a long process to get to this layout, but that's mostly just because of a lot of paper piecing we're going to do. I'll fast forward through the stuff that's repetitive and boring for you, but it is going to be fun, and I think it's going to turn out very cute. So let's check it out. Let's check out my workspace and get started. Thanks for joining me. All right, so here we are at my desktop, and you'll recognize this page as being the last page that we did as we were leaving Disneyland California Adventure and entering into Disneyland from the front. So I know it's unusual, but the whole time that we had been there, and mind you, this is only the end of the second day that we were there at Disney, but we had, because we were staying in the Disneyland Hotel, we had gone into the park via Tomorrowland, and so we had never actually walked through the entrance gate, which was this up here. So it was kind of a cool thing to go ahead and get our group photo in front of the railroad station and the Mickey that's done in flowers and stuff back here on the bank. Anyway, so just a fun thing, and the pictures that continue after this are actually taken from the railroad station here, so it's also kind of a big deal because of that. So we're going to turn the page, and the following layouts that we're going to work on today, I know you're seeing a lot of bling on your screen. This is going to turn into a couple of really cool borders, which we'll get into in just a minute. But I also have, so this is one of those layouts where I kind of went through my stash and pulled out some things that I hadn't used that were kind of miscellaneous and sort of already cut. The only thing that's not cut is the border we're going to create using this punch and these papers over here in just a minute. But these triangles I already had cut. They're made with parakeet shimmer paper, so they have a little bit of that shine to them. This is a 6 3/8 inch square that's been cut in half. So I'm going to use my trimmer, and I'm going to cut them in half again to make two smaller triangles. And so I'm just going to line up the base of the triangle on the shoulder at the bottom of my trimmer and the point on my cutting line, and just go ahead and cut those into two smaller triangles. We're going to use those on either side of our layout. I also have a journal card, which is kind of in the shape of a tree, so I thought that would be appropriate because we're going to be showcasing the Disneyland Christmas tree, the one that is right there in the circle in front of the railroad station at Liberty Square. So I'm hoping to use the journal box to kind of be able to document some of that fun. I also pulled out several mats just to make matting my photos a little bit easier, and because it does make my page look so much more finished when I use a mat. And I don't use my mat packs as often as I think I could, so I thought it might be fun to just use those today. I pulled out a couple of laser borders also. These cute trains, I don't know why, but I've been saving them, I think, for something, and I just decided that now is the time. I love trains at Christmas. There's something about trains at Christmas. And so I just thought it would be really fun, since we're talking about the railroad. The photos are from the railroad of the Christmas tree, and I just love I don't know. There's something about a train going around the base of a Christmas tree that's just cool. These are not going to be going around the base of the Christmas tree, but we are going to use them in part of the border that's going to go around to frame the page. And then I have this laser border also that was kind of an anomaly, but it is trees. So we're going to, I think, use that today too. And then these are the photos we're going to use. So before we get too far into this, let's go ahead and prepare the one remaining border that we need to do. I'm just going to set all this aside for a second, and we're going to jump into this. So if you don't have this in your stash, I hate to tell you this, but this is a retired punch. It's called Twinkling Lights. It is a fairly recently retired or fairly recent punch. I don't remember when it retired exactly, but it was either from this past Christmas or the Christmas before that. It is a very cool punch that shows lights on a string. We had one that was kind of a vine punch that had these leaf shapes that went off of it that a lot of us used as lights before. But this time around, we actually got a light string, which was super fun. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and punch this. I'm going to make 2 borders, and I was thinking of using the white shimmer paper, but then I thought, well, green really kind of is more Christmas lights, because most of our Christmas lights have a green string, right? So that they blend into the tree. So I'm not sure which one's going to look better for my purposes here, but I thought I would just go ahead and we'll try it with both and we'll see what happens. All right, so this one I need to cheat just a little bit. If you've ever had a piece of paper that was small, like this one, that you wanted to punch, but you weren't sure because you can't get it into the punch or you can't see it, let me just show you what I do. I add a little Post-it note to the punch. Actually, that's a little high. Sorry about that. I add my little Post-it note to the edge of the punch. I try to keep it as straight as possible, in line with the edge of my strip. And then I can put this into my punch and see where the edge of my paper is based on where my Post-it note is. Because I need to be able to make that first punch and know where the edge is. And then I can just take that off in a minute. We'll get that off. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and punch this second line of lights. Of course, we know at Christmas time, the lights that we see on our trees are often all different colors and bright and twinkly, right? Which is cool. So I pulled out several colors of shimmer paper. That's what you see over here. Not shimmer paper, but glitter paper. And my plan is, if I can get this off. Come on. You know you want to come off. There we go. Oh, my lights at the bottom are not punched through, but that's going to actually be okay, and I'll show you why here in just a second. Gonna get this white piece off. Okay, there we go. So I've got my 2 strings of lights. We may come back and we may punch some white just to accent that. I'm not sure. But for right now, we're gonna just not worry about it. Let me get rid of this quickly. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna come back in here with my glitter paper and I'm going to just punch enough of this so that I get two strips of each color. So 2 punches from each color. Now, it is pretty tough to punch with glitter paper. I will recommend that you use, if you have shimmer paper, it works much easier than the glitter paper. Glitter paper tends to be really thick and can be more difficult to punch. So keep that in mind. It depends on your glitter paper, but it definitely is more challenging to punch because it's thicker. But you're not going to ruin your punch, I don't think. I mean, it just depends on how much you've used your punch, how old your punch is, that kind of thing. I can't guarantee that you won't ruin your punch. Hopefully you won't ruin your punch by using glitter paper. But you can always use something besides glitter paper if you are uncomfortable in any way with cutting or using your glitter paper in a punch. You can see I'm having to put quite a bit of force to use the glitter paper on this, or with this. Having to push down quite forcefully because the glitter paper I'm using is fairly thick. It's not impossible, but it is fairly thick, so. This one's a little bit better. And I'm just punching them all so that I can clean up and put most of my scraps in the trash before I make more, because we're going to be trimming off all of these little lights that we've now punched. Okay. Now I'm just going to close that punch up, set it aside, and grab my precision cut scissors. And I'm just going to real quick snip off all of these little light strands that we have now, so I can remove the larger pieces of paper from my workspace, because we just don't need them. There's just something about the bling at Christmas time, and so that's why, since this layout is going to feature the Christmas tree, I decided that we ought to do something with a little flash. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so these, oh dear, I got that punched just a little off. Well, that's unfortunate. I may be able to fix that when I put it down. So we'll just have to pay attention to that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is get my precision point adhesive. I think that's going to work best. Give me 1 second. All right, so my precision point adhesive and my tweezers, which I think will also come in handy for this. And then if you have one of these guys, this may come in handy too. This is one of the sticky, I can't remember now what it's called. Gosh, my brain's just failing me all over the place today. At any rate, okay, first we're going to go in here and we're just going to cut off the bulbs. I'm trying to think how I might want to do this. I think rather than cutting straight across, I'm going to cut kind of at a point. So at the base of the light, just kind of follow the shape of the light and make an egg shape. This is going to take a minute, so I'll speed it up in the video. But basically, you're just coming in with your scissors. You see that? At the base of the light and continuing the line of that curvature to make a pointed ellipse, kind of. It's not oval, but it's okay. So I'm just going to cut all these out, and I will see you as soon as I'm done. All right, so let's see. Now we're going to have the fun of putting these all together. So I'm a Roy G. Biv kind of girl. So I like to go in order, and I have a real problem sometimes not going in order. So I apologize to those of you who are a bit more random than that, but I can't help it. So it is what it is, right? So I'm going to, let me make sure that my accents are on the correct side. Yeah, okay. So let's go ahead. I'm going to put my glue, my little dot of glue on the green to start. Putting 2 dots, and I'm going to do my best to stay kind of in order with the color that we need to stay with the Roy G. Biv order. Okay, so here we've got red. I need to scooch that over just a little because it's a little off. Basically, you're just using the green part that we punched as the string, and adding the lights to the string. Orange. Here's a gold one, but my opening is on the wrong side, so let's try a different gold one. This one will work. Actually, no, it won't. Hold on. I was afraid that we might run into this issue, but you have to make sure that the little accent opening on the punch is in the right spot. So red, orange, yellow, we need a green with the accent on that side. There we go. There's our green. And then blue. Wow, this lifter stick is the bomb diggity when it comes to doing this stuff. Really, really helpful. Come on. Got glue on my nail and it's sticking to everything. All right, and then purple. So red, orange, yellow, gold, blue, green, blue, purple. Then we'll start over with red. So my, oh, that's not open on the right side, on the correct side. My strong suggestion for you is just to bring your patients along to do this, and that you don't put glue on too many of them at once, because by the time you get to the end of what you've already applied glue to, the glue will have dried, or may have dried. So let's see, that orange one will work. Now I need some more glue. So I'm just going to go along here and add all these little bitty lights. And I will see you on the other side when I'm done. All right, so you can see that I had to kind of go with a little bit of a different pattern on the second one. For some reason, I just wasn't locating the correct lights with the accent in the right place to be able to do the Roy G. Biv in exactly the right order. But I don't think it's really super noticeable, and I think it actually goes pretty well. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get our layout assembled. I think we are ready to do that, and I don't think I'm going to worry about the accenting it with white, although we could just punch one and just see what it looks like. I don't know if it's going to need that, but we'll try it and just see if we decide that it looks nice that way. Come on, line up. There we go. One more. Okay, let's see if it's even necessary. Let me get this part, this little bit off. Okay, so what I was thinking was if we took one of these and we just sort of offset it just a tad, that it might make a nice accent. But honestly, I don't know if we really need it. Darn it, I kind of like it. I think it actually adds a little bit. So let's do that. I'll punch one more of these white, one more in white, and then we will finish assembling those and get our page going, okay? our page should fly together pretty quickly, so I'm not really worried about time. I think it will actually be a pretty quick thing to assemble. So let's go ahead and let me get my punch confetti off the table so we don't have to deal with that. Nice clean work surface is always good. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and just do, I think I'm just going to use my repositionable adhesive on the back of this to kind of get it where I want it to be. And I'm just worrying about putting it on that the main wire that connects all the lights, not all the individual lights. Okay, so we're going to just flip this over, and then we're going to, oh, hold on, I have it going the wrong direction. There we go. Come on, play with me. Don't be mean. Okay. Play nice. Just like the lights on a Christmas tree. They get tangled up and have their own agenda. Okay, so there's that one. And then let's flip this one over. And we'll do the same thing on this one. Just kind of going along the trail of the wire. And if we start with this one going across, maybe we should turn this so that it picks up at the same place like that. So I think I will do that. This is definitely a border that you will want to make when you have lots of time and you're not in a rush. There we go. Okay, so we'll just set those up there for right now. Let me grab the layouts pages we're going to use. First thing I'm going to do is go ahead and put down these triangles that are going to go in the corners. I'm going to put one of these in each outside corner of my layout, and we're going to be tucking some things underneath it, so we'll need our all-purpose tool to be able to kind of lift some things up, but it will all come together in the end, as they say. Okay, so we've got our two corners on that side. We'll do these two corners on the other side. Okay, so outside upper corner. Lower corner. There we go. Now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut this in half, our trees. So let me just measure, just roughly measure so I can find out which tree is in the middle. So this tree right here is my center. So I'm just going to kind of cut across that so that the lower tree stays connected. And I'm going to add repositionable adhesive all the way down both of those pieces. These are going to go along the sides of my layout. So I'm going to grab my all-purpose tool, scoot this over so you can see. I'm going to jump in here and go underneath my corners and put these trees in about, it's not quite a half an inch. I think I'm going to go with more like about 3/8 of an inch from the edge. You just don't want them to be crooked. So if they are laying down and they look a little bit crooked, like mine were, best to straighten them out. Okay, so we've got our trees going there. Let's get this one in over here. Gonna try and put them at about the same spot, if that makes sense to you, so that I have just a hair of that tree poking out at the top there, and just barely the corner of that one covering at the bottom. Okay, cool, that one's done. We're going to put our train across the bottom. Now we've got two trains, that means we have 2 engines and 2 cabooses. I don't need 2 engines and 2 cabooses. I only need 1 engine and 1 caboose. So I'm going to cut the caboose off of this side, and I'm going to cut the engine off of this side, because I want my train to go all the way across the bottom of my page. That's right, Emily, good job. She's making choo-choo sounds. All right, so we're going to put our train about the same length above the bottom edge of our page as our trees were to the outer edge of the page over there. Okay, so about 3/8 of an inch from the bottom, and all the way to the center jeeping here, so that it gives the illusion that our train is extra long. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of line that up just to help me a little bit to make sure my train looks like it's making sense and is connected. We'll smooth that out so it's all nice and put down. Okay, now our tree garland is going to go across the top of our layout, but we don't necessarily need it to go all the way across. I'm thinking I'm either going to trim it or I'm going to cut it and have it go at an angle down the side here, which, because we did all that hard work making those lights attached, so I'm thinking if we trim it, we can still use all those lights. So I'm going to trim it right here on the edge of the green one, which I was going to kind of trim it in there anyway because of my little punching error that I had. It wasn't a great error, but it It's enough that it's gonna bug me, but I'm gonna try to just ignore it. Okay. So we're gonna add this in about the same distance. The top ones here about the same distance from the top as the bottom, as our train is from the bottom. Maybe slightly closer to the top. And I'm going to need some more adhesive. Okay. And this one is going to, we're going to trim this one right here. I have to tell you, looking at this, I'm thinking maybe having orange in there is not necessary. I feel like it sort of throws off the vibe of the vibe, listen to me, throws off the whole sort of feeling that you get with it, because we don't have orange in any of the other colors, but maybe when we have the photos on, it'll make a bigger difference. Okay, so let me go ahead and get these photos mounted on some mats, and then we'll talk about where they ought to go. Actually, before we do that, let me go ahead and line up. Let's figure out where the photos are going to go, and then we'll figure out where which mats need to go, so we can balance the colors of the mats. Okay, so here is the entrance. Here is the railroad station. So we'll put that down here. This is also the railroad station, so we can overlap those just a smidge. Then we've got the tree. And another one of the castle, which is beyond the tree. So let's see. Maybe what I ought to do is kind of follow the same line with these, and we'll put that one out there. Maybe what I'll do is I'll trim that one because we don't need the whole thing, and then we can use our journal box in that space to talk about the layout. So we'll do, let's do a 3 and, let's see, I think I'm going to do a 3 3/4 square, so I can still mat it, and it will look nice. It's looking back at the train. And then, let's see. Here's our journal box. So we may need to kind of work that in just a little. Maybe lower that. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so if we have the journal box over there, that's a bit of green. We need some more green over here. Maybe we'll do like that. Should we put the castle with gold or with green? I feel like castle should be gold, but I don't know if I like the color. We'll see. Okay, so that blue is with gold, so this one maybe we'll do with gold also. We'll do this one with some green, since we've got another green one here. And then I've got green and I've got red. Maybe we should do this one in green, so there'll be that balance. Then we'll do the tree in red, and we'll do this one with just a little bit of green behind it for the holly. Okay, that works for me. So we're going to do I need to trim this to 4 inches square so that it will make a nice mat for this guy. All right, so I'm going to adhere these photos and be right back. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and get these photos that are now mounted onto our page. I don't always do this, but I'm going to go ahead and move this all the way in, these photos all the way in so that they hit the cheaping on the center line. And part of that is so that I'm not going to cover up all the funness going on around the outer edge of the layout. Some of it is going to have a little bit of compromise, but hopefully we won't cover too much of it. Look at that tree, it's so big. I learned somewhere along the line that Disney pre-assembles and decorates everything, and then they bring it in. Part of the reason they're able to transform the park overnight is because all of the decorations are already on the tree. They just put the tree together in the park and they are good to go, which is awesome, and I wish that I could do that with my Christmas tree. Just leave it pre-decorated. But that kind of, takes away all the fun of decorating it every year too. So, there's trade-offs, I guess. We have gotten to the point where my husband leaves the tree up and we just cover it with plastic in our basement storage area, which makes things a little bit easier. We don't have to put it away in its box every single year. Alright, so we're just gonna, let me see if I can slip this underneath. It's not gonna go underneath the train, but it can go kind of underneath the photo. And then this photo can go right above it. Okay, I think we are about good to go. And you know what? I don't think I'm going to add any embellishing to this page. I think it's got enough going on with the trees on the outside and the train at the bottom and the lights on the top. Let me know what you think, if it's too busy for you. You know, it's kind of bordering on that for me, I think, looking at it with all the different colors and everything, but it's a fun page, so I'm okay with it at the moment. I may come back to it later and feel like I need to add something, but we'll see. For now, I think I'm going to just leave it like this. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks, as always, for joining me, and until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments. Have a great day.